What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Friday Vape Club. As always, your host, Squiddly Triss, back for another review for you. Today, we are looking at another pod kit. When are these pod kits gonna stop being made? Yeah, it's another pod kit. Although I will say this. This is a pod kit I've been looking to try for a while, and it is the Potento X. So Advken released the Potento. It was a stick pod with a potentiometer on the bottom, and it was pretty good. It had some pretty good flavor. There were a couple of cons with that, and the cons that me and other reviewers had were fed back to Advken, and they changed them, and they released the Potento X. They changed the form factor, and they've changed a couple of things with the pod and the mod itself. So I'm looking forward to really trying this and telling you my thoughts. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive down, take a very quick look around this thing, and then we'll jump back up top here. We will do the pros, the cons, the price, if I think this is the best or the worst device ever. So stick around and watch this video. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button for me. Do not forget to smash that like button and drop a comment down below. What do you think of the Potento? Do you have a favorite pod kit? Just let's chat. So that's all I've got. Let's just get into this.
Alright, and here we have the Potento X pod kit. So a couple of quick specs on this thing. It is 74.8 millimeters tall, it is 40 millimeters wide, and it is 14.5 millimeters deep. It does have a 950 milliamp hour battery as well. Up the top here, this is your pod. It holds 2.5 mils of liquid. It's a decent little pod system. This is the 1.2 ohm mesh pod. You do have the fill port down the side. Just stick your nail in and rip open the grommet like so. It exposes a massive fill port down the side there. You can see it is a 1.2 ohm mesh. You've got your connections on the bottom and they match up inside the battery right there. It's a little bit juicy on the inside, but that's usually from condensation, not from leaking. It does clip into place. Very satisfactory. I do love that click. It's a very ergonomic little mouthfeel as well. I do like the pod on this. You can see it's got a very wide bore and is a little bit thicker than the other pods. It allows the more viscous liquid to flow through and you don't get air bubbles underneath. Down the side here, you do have your little lanyard and also this little knob, this little potentiometer. And this is how you change the voltage. So when you scroll it all the way down, it's 3.2. And you can scroll it all the way up to 4.2. You see the little plus sign. You just keep scrolling up. It doesn't have any stops. You just sort of dial in your preferred voltage. You'll know it when you find it, what suits your vaping style. I prefer it just around there. That's how I've been enjoying it. Not too hot, not too cold. It's just a very nice little vape. So yeah, I scroll it all the way down and I just turn it up around about a quarter of a turn, and that's just perfect for me. I don't know what voltage that is, but yeah, it's perfect. You've got a USB-C charging port right here. It's a little bit on the piss, I think. That's not straight. Is that straight? I'm not too sure if that's straight or not, but yeah. Anyway, it's USB-C, and that's always a positive in my opinion. Down the bottom here, there's nothing really to write home about. As you can see, 950 milliamp hour battery. So this thing will last you all bloody day as a primary vape, not just a secondary vape. Nothing down the side here, and then that leads you to the Potento X on the front. I do like the styling of this. I like the black, I like the deep engraving. I think it looks really good. It is made of aluminum alloy, so it is lightweight as well. On the back here, you've got the Advken, and right there, that's your little airflow. So it's a little circle, and you've got that little cutout where you just stick your nail in, and then you just turn the airflow like so. I've been enjoying it fully open. It will be a little bit of an issue if you don't have nails like I don't. I generally bite them and cut them, as you can tell by the atrocious condition of my fingers. But yeah, it does take a little bit of getting used to just to dial it in just correctly. That's pretty much it for the Advken Potento X pod kit. Nothing really to write home about. being made of aluminum alloy, it is very lightweight. It did feel a little bit plasticky at first, but yeah, I read the website and it says aluminum alloy, so it's going to be robust and it will not break on you if you drop it. That's pretty much it for this little pod system. Nothing more to it. It is very plain and simple. All right, so let's take a look at the packaging. And here we have a closer look at the Potento X packaging. Pretty nice packaging from Advken. Got a picture of the Potento on the front. You got some of the features there as well. Tells you everything you need to know. Nothing really on the side there. Made in China. That's about it. And then on the back, it does tell you your kit contents, a little bit of warnings, and for your first use. All right, let's get this sucker open and see what we have inside. All right. So the first thing you'll see is the Potento X instruction manual. It's a bit of a poster style pull-out instruction manual. This is where your Potento X will be sitting, and then you do get a little box of goodies. So let's take a look inside this box, shall we? So tucked down there, you can see him just hiding in the little corner there. That's a little USB-C charging cable, and that's pretty much it. You don't get a spare pod, you don't get anything else with this. Literally just the battery housing and the charging cable. Just shoot that back in there like so. And that's it. That's the Advken Potento X. Let's jump back up top. Let's do the pros, cons, price, and if I give this thing the best or the worst device ever.
All right, so there we had a quick look around this Potento X. We are going to take it for a vape. I have got the 1.2 ohm coil in here. I've got the airflow fully open, and my voltage is about like a quarter turn up. I don't know what that means, but let's take it for a vape. All right, you can see it works. That's always a pro in my book. So let's talk about the pros and the cons. All right, so the pros. So a couple of things for this. So they did fix the issue with the pods in the last Potento, and that being the fill system. So when you filled the last pod, sometimes the liquid would get an air bubble underneath, and it became very hard to fill it, especially if you get an air bubble down here. The coils were a little bit too close to the outside of the pod, and the liquid just didn't go all the way around, especially if you were using a very viscous liquid. Anything higher than a 50-50 didn't really fill properly, and they fixed that. They've made the pods a little bit wider, which is great. It does have long battery life, so this thing does have a 950 milliamp hour battery. That is massive, especially for a little pod kit like this. You don't need 950 milliamp hours, but you can use this all day, every day, and you just charge it at night, and Bob's your uncle. You don't need to charge it during the day. It will last you all day. I use this as my primary vape, and yeah, I've got no issues with it. Never run out of battery on me, so that's always great. This just looks really cool. Despite it being on a lanyard, yes, I know I've ripped people in the past wearing lanyards, but believe me, for convenience and ease of use, having a pod like this on a lanyard is amazing. Anyway, yeah, it looks pretty decent. I don't mind the X. I think it looks kind of cool. I like the pattern on the back. I like this sort of boxy shape. It just, it appeals to me. It doesn't have any stupid colors or neon or anything like that. It's just straight black. I like it. I think it's a decent looking little device. They're the pros. The flavor is pretty good off these pods. The 1 ohm and the 1.2 ohm have some pretty decent flavor. I didn't notice any difference between the two of them. I tried both. They were fair enough the same. Pretty good flavor. I would expect that from a little pod like this, especially when they've got mesh coils on the inside. And that's kind of about it for the pros. Let's talk about the cons. So there's only one real con for me, and that is this voltage control. So you control your voltage on this little potentiometer right here, and you go from 3.2, which is in its lowest setting, all the way up to 4.2 volts. That's a fair little way to roll this potentiometer, but there's nothing on here that tells you where you're at or gives you a rough indication. You kind of got to do it by feel. I really wish that they would give you some indications or some clicks in here. Unfortunately, this does get moved around. I do like it down the lower settings. So sometimes I just have to especially when I was having it in my pocket. I'd have to pull it out, I'd have to scroll all the way back, turn it up a half, and I know that I'm in that perfect spot. I just really wish they had some sort of indication on there as to where you were in that voltage range. That's it. That's how nitpicky I have to be. Apart from that, it's a bloody good little vape. I've really been enjoying it. So that's the pros and the cons out of the way. Let's talk about the price. What is the Potento X going to set you back? Well, at the time of recording this, I couldn't find it anywhere on sale in Australia. So I did find this on some websites, those Chinese vendor wholesale websites. They did have it on sale for $30 US or $40 to $45 Australian, depending on the exchange rate. So you can get your hands on it there. I couldn't find anywhere actually in Australia that did sell them at the time. I do know of one shop who will be carrying this. So check out Vapor State. They are who sent this over for review from me. So they will have it there. I'm sure it'll be up on their website very soon if you really do want to get your hands on one of these. And if you do like mouth to lung devices and you do like this sort of style of a mouth to lung pod kit, go and pick one up. If I'm recommending it now, do you need to know my rating system? Probably not, but we'll do it anyway. If I had to give this thing a rating out of best device ever, worst device ever, nothing in between, just best or worst, it is going in that best category. I have really, really been enjoying using this. It's a great little mouth to lung pod kit. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I really hope you enjoy it. Like always, please like, please share, please subscribe, and remember YouTube, keep it cloudy.
A Gutter Slut production.